Today we're going to be making Lomo Saltado, which is a South American dish. And to make Lomo Saltado, you need 2 potatoes, tomato, a funny looking onion, steak, or preferably meat, and a cup of rice. The first step in making Lomo Saltado is to add our cup of rice to our pot. I like to actually add a little oil first before any water goes in and simply just heat up our rice. We're not burning the rice, we're not caramelizing the rice, we're simply just heating it up and getting it going, which is going to help it absorb water later on. Remember that you use 1 cup because for every 1 cup of rice you are using 3 cups of water. Keep stirring it around and get it going. So simply if you're cooking for more people, just use a bigger cup. Now that it's just got a little bit of smoke coming out of it, we are going to add 3 cups of water. Lomo Saltado, you're going to find that making good rice is the most difficult part. It's important to have it on high heat for about, I'd say 10 minutes, as it's obviously boiling. After about 10 minutes, I turn the heat down to a lower setting for another 15 to really let the water soak into the rice. Afterwards, turn it off, leave the lid on so that all of the water that's evaporating up for about 10 minutes has nowhere to go except for getting pushed into the rice. As we move over, while our rice is cooking, we can start with our potatoes. Now, it's important to take the skin off your potatoes because the pesticides used is actually very deadly and very hurtful for humans. For the sake of time, we have another potato. What I like to do first is just chop off an end so it stands there and cut it the long way just in nice straight lines all the way down. So they actually almost look like potato chips. Stack up all your potato chips. And don't worry about this little nub. Again, we want a nice surface so that when we're making our cuts, it's pretty easy. And again, just go the long way. Nice and smooth so that when the end result comes through, you have little French fries. When you have all of your French fries, your potatoes chopped up nicely, actually put them in a bowl and add some water to that bowl. That's going to keep your potatoes from having the skin grow back on them. So after we're done with our potatoes, we come back here to our tomato and our onion. Starting with the onion, usually we just chop it on both sides, and then once down the middle. For the sake of time, we have one right here, and we just put it on both its ends, and we're actually going to cut it on an angle, down the center, and at an angle one more time. And that's going to give us really nice pieces of the onion to work with. Again, starting with our tomato, put it on a side. Go the long way, just chop the head right off of it. Have a nice even base to work with. And turn it into a pizza. Cross it. Give it a good sign. And then one more time. So, after we've done chopping up our tomatoes and our onions, put those 2 together because those are going to be pretty necessary. And I'm sorry, Steve, you're not going to like this part too much, but starting with our big piece of meat. Stretch it out all the way and actually just cut it into really nice long strips. It's okay if they look a little funny. The point is that they should be evenly length so that they share a very similar cooking time. Where you really make your money with Lomo Saltado is your order of operations. First, let out all of the water from your potatoes when you're ready to use them, and put them on the side. Get your pan ready, and you're going to actually be using a lot of oil here. In fact, you're going to want to coat the entire pan with oil. Give that a quick swish, and turn on the heat. Now, 2 things are pretty important here. Your French fries are going to be wet, and your oil does not like wet. So, from the beginning, before your oil gets really hot, put in your potatoes. We're actually going to fry these until they turn golden, until they're looking good, and then we're actually going to pull them out of the pan again and put them on a plate. They will be the first thing we cook. We pull them out. We cook all of our other tomatoes and onions and things, and then we'll reintroduce them last. So as our potatoes are frying, you want to pay attention that once they start to get this type of color and consistency to them, that they've evenly been cooked, shut off your heat and pull them out. The oil that's left in the pan, the excess oil, get rid of it. Throw it down the sink because you're not going to need any more. Do not add any more oil or else that might spark a fire. Your potatoes, and those are looking good. Dump in your tomatoes and your onions that we chopped at the exact same time and get those really going. You're going to let those cook for about 10 minutes or so, depending on how you feel or what the pan temperature looks like, before you add your meat. When you add your meat, literally just dump it all in. All of these should be cooking together. So all of the flavors is going to be shared with each other. Keep that going and give it a little stir. I'd say after about another 5 minutes, if you feel like it, add some soy sauce, just for an extra flavor. Maybe just a 2 count to get that really going. And just keep stirring it and keep it going. When you feel like this is cooked to the point that it's really, really ready, add your potatoes. And when you add these potatoes, literally, again, just plop them right in. All of the flavor is going to be shared here. Followed by your secret weapon, pepper. As you're splashing in a little pepper here, make sure it's evenly distributed. Give that a stir, make sure that's all the way through. Again, we've got our nice big pieces of meat, our nice big vegetables here, and your secret weapon, vinegar. By adding just a little bit of vinegar, you're also making that pepper just a little spicy. Not spicy hot, but spicy flavor. And again, give that just a quick swish around. And let it cook. So, as our Lomo Saltado is still finishing, our rice that's been sitting on the side should be ready to go. It's been steaming for about 10 to 15 minutes now. And as everything, all the juices are going, that's looking about ready to eat. Everything's kind of turned a nice caramelized color, and a lot of the natural juices of the meat have been coming out. So, I'd say shut it off, because it looks like we're ready just to throw our rice and our meat into a plate. So, at the end, our nice finished product, our rice, with our other meat, potatoes, vegetables, onions there. Nice and spicy, pretty delicious. But say something just didn't turn out the way that you were thinking, or your rice had too much water in it at the end, actually throw those in the pot with your meat and your vegetables and your potatoes and your onions, and actually just stir those around. What's going to happen is your rice is going to absorb the flavor from your onions, potatoes, and your meat, and if you add just an additional little soy sauce to the combination, it actually could save the day. A lot of the excess water is going to evaporate out of the rice, as well as a lot of the flavor is going to get pushed into. So, for now, thank you for showing up, and bon appetit!